Hello, hey, hi everybody, social media family. Being of any subscribers to that being of my own social media channel and likewise social media chat room or social media comment section. That is, wait a minute, did I say that correctly? I'm sorry, it's a rather late hour. Um, I think I did. But then, hello, hey, hi, social media family. Being of any subscribers and or as well as any visitors to that being my own social media channel and or likewise social media chat room or comment section. How y'all doing? Well, hopefully everyone is doing at least okay. If not better yet, to be said, to be feeling all right. If not best of all, to be said, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, and too blessed, to possibly calm or be stressed. You and yours, your family and friends, hopefully me and mine likewise. And do excuse, pardon, and forgive me if I could possibly be butchering the English language. Once again, you know, for the umpteenth time, or for a consecutive number of times. Hold that thought. And at this rather late hour, and whereas it is something like an hour past my bedtime, hour of 11 p.m. Oh, shit. Then I kind of have problems sleeping anyway. Especially if you have a neighbor from damn hell like what I have. Some toilet paper. Sorry about that. It may look like quite the barbarian. Yeah, so caveman. God forbid. Yes, it's like something like an hour or so past my bedtime of 11 p.m. And usually a neighbor from damn hell interrupts my sleeping patterns. But soon I should be out of here and going to my new place of residence apartment. Only after having to move from my present one, as soon to become my old one. Thanks to this same proverbial neighbor from down hell male character. Being one of the dime a dozen public nuisances problem neighbors, being of whom you could have possibly heard in the background, making like bam bam rubbles. Sorry about that. I apologize to y'all for the interruptions coming from him. And as himself or whoever is taking his place, being maybe an accomplice in crime or a supposed so-called new tenant, as I had been informed by the management of the building that he himself had supposedly moved out. But then, more than likely, more often than not, they could have told me just about anything and everything. You know, practically, not possibly. Just to try to make me feel content after they could, sense that I got some resentment from how they had given me the walking papers that he should have received after I went through all the proper policies and procedures of protocol to address the issue of himself becoming or being quite, well, that's not the half of it, very much so, a daily and a nightly public nuisance of a problem neighbor, being of whom, being of whom would compliment the the proverbial cliche or corn phrase that being of which is commonly called and commonly known likewise as the neighbor from damn hell, you know. And so they could have just possibly had informed me that he supposedly moved out, if anything, just to keep me from going to court on them, you know. Yes, but fortunately, I have found another place of residence, you know. But then, likewise, unfortunately, the place of residence is in a worse neighborhood. community for vicinity area within city limits. But I have had to consider my options, and my alternative one, being one of the last, was to, move into a mostly black neighborhood community, and a one that is poverty stricken, more crime ridden, just to keep from possibly becoming homeless, you know. And now I'm gonna have to watch my back more. And so much for that conversation, dialogue. I mean, well, with this slight interjection. And so I'm having to go through all this moving process as a result of developments of this same neighbor from down hell, you know, having flipped the script, having managed to convince the management of the building, or real estate personnel representatives, for these premises properties to give me the paperwork documents or something similar to an eviction notice, being of a non-renewal of apartment rental agreement, lease, letter of correspondence. After I went through all the proper policies and procedures and protocol to state my grievances or put in complaints or report him to the management building as well, to the police a number of times. And he flipped the script out of resentment for my having my person, sorry for butchering the English language, American dialect once again. But for my person, so I said, as a backtrack, here we read no further then, so I can go on to continue from where and when that my person had last left off, so I can finish up as a completed form 3 to Friday night though. And whereas he out of resentment for me having gone through all the proper policies and procedures and protocols to address the issue, to complain to the management and as well to the police for his daily and nightly violations of his apartment and rental lease, and likewise for his total disrespect for my rights and privileges as his fellow neighbor, whereas he himself, out of resentment, retaliated by having a management, as he had convinced them to do just that, being which is to give me the walking papers that he should have received. And should result in developments of me having to move much rather than how he should have been the one, or where he should have been given some or such, Okay. And so much for that conversation. Now I say, because this is not so much as upon that issue. Y'all still haven't moved. I'm going through the last stages of developments that will result in me moving my personal effects, belongings, or possessions to the new place of residence. I have to make arrangement with movers, etc. Anyway, dog, and moving right along, or on to other things, as our kissing cousins across the waters of the great Atlantic, being of the Brits, as in English or British or whatever I said, who live in the mother country, or for that being of which supposedly had given birth to our own supposed so-called democratic republic or democracy that resembles that of their own, but then the former ex-USSR resembles that of our own, the USA. That continues to, permit lousy, racist, redneck, dirty cops, closet Klan and closet neo-Nazis to shoot unarmed non-white males in the back. And then that is a different subject matter or topic of discussion to be debated of a given argument with many different views and or opinions to be affiliated or associated with and or representing thereof, the pro cons of some such, being of which I could do a video upon or do another one if I have done some such already upon that are the same in the said in question of the former previous 5 minutes, but this is not the one. This is of a totally different social media broadcast of video to be possibly considered. Oh, did I ask you all how your person is doing? Or if I didn't, so I do now. If I did or had done, so there's no harm or hurt in repeating myself. I hope each and every one of you are doing at least okay, if not better yet, to be said, to be feeling all right, if not best of all, to be said, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, too blessed to possibly calm or be stressed. You and yours, family, friends, and hoping me and mine likewise. And now that I've gotten the preliminaries out of the way, and where this social media broadcast or video, as I had explained, and I'll give a brief description, not only for the basic intro as an introduction, but within the footnotes, whereas this one is dealing with or regarding making some sort of reference to and reflect upon it as it kind of could have me reflect on my own perilous existence, if you know what I mean, between lines, feeling like so. But then God is still in blessed. No. And as a lot of these movies, because this social media broadcast or video is about how I'm critiquing this one movie flick or Hollywood, California motion picture production, whereas I will critique films from time to time. And Hollywood is weird, as most of the majority of celebrities are closet devil worshippers who have joined, that being a secret societies as the Hollywood, California movie, television, and music industries are a part of those secret societies. They join those secret societies, devil worshipping cliques, so they can make the bigger bucks. But anyway, though, this particular, critique of a movie is for the one called by its name title of Dogtown. As I had explained or give the descriptions in both the basic intro as an introduction and likewise the footnotes. And it's about this one, white girl, the daughter of a mob family don or boss or godfather of a mafia family. And she decides to go to the small town to escape her father for a little while. But eventually he finds out where she's located at. But in the meantime, she befriends the town's people. And they themselves, at first it would seem that they're ordinary country bumpkins, small town folks, peaceful, whatever I've said. But little do she recognize and realize there's something similar to, something sinister to this town. And as the town folks, the peace will be compared onto something or some or such similar to characters out of a Stephen King novel, is what I meant to say. And as she befriends them, and they befriend her, but after a while, they start to show their true colors, and they start to take advantage of her, whereas they make her out to become their slave to the extent whereas she's pretty much so held hostage in that town after a while, where she loses her independence. They weaken her in mind, body, and spirit, etc. But her father, being of a mob boss, of a mob, being of a mob, of down of a mob family, or a godfather mafia family, eventually finds out where she's been hiding, where she's hidden, where she's been hiding herself, and all damn hell breaks loose when he finds out what they had done to his daughter after she gives him the 411, and he turns that town out with his boys. especially when it comes to the men of that small town who had repeatedly sexually abused, sexually assaulted, or raped or molested her. You know, going about with so many schemes or scams to get into her panties. At one time, they had even held her like as hostage or prisoner, where they had chained her up like a dog. You know, a canine of the animal species. From time to time, they let her go, but they let her go about the town out of the chain. But for a while, after a while, for a while, she was, more like chained like a dog. But when he eventually found out where she was hidden, or hiding out from him, she told him what they done to her, particularly and especially the males of that town. From there, it was like Tommy gun action, especially when it comes to the males, or mainly mostly. You know. Whereas there was one scene in that movie flick where she wants to leave. For some reason or another, the town folks eventually they had agreed after a while. Either they was getting kind of supposedly sick and tired of her, whereas if anything, she would be sick and tired of them after all the abuse they dished out to her, treating her like an animal, literally, actually like an animal. Had one time or another had her chained up like a dog. Even the kids were making fun of her, throwing food at her, and she chained up like a dog. But anyway, though, so they had agreed to let her go as she would be more a liability to the town, especially if outsiders would have found out that there was a major news story brewing in that town as a result of developments of their repeated abuses of this daughter of a mob don, a godfather, uh, a mafia family, and out of fear for after they found out who her fathers, they wanted to get rid of her soon enough, you know. But for some reason or another, the freaky men of the town, though they wanted to get rid of her as well, but they still wanted to sexually abuse her. Like, as a matter of well, I don't know if this was a real life story, based on real life story. No. Well, some movie flicks, or certain motion picture production are based upon real life incidents, real life happenings or history, but others are like, I mean, some are based upon fact, others are based on fiction. But anyway, though, regardless, though, so there's one thing in the movie flick, whereas there was this one, you know, local yoko. He was saying that he's willing to drive her to a certain point where she would still have to get some more transportation, or start walking as a pedestrian. But he was like saying, if he can't get paid in dollars and cents, he has to get paid otherwise. And so she is, you know, she has agreed to. But then they had forced her before anyway, another time. But this time they jiving the cannabis scheme, and this guy giving her ultimatums word wise, that's getting her not so much as because this one guy, not so much as they would have just gone ahead and take it at random. This time they having to be more, because they kind of having a fear of what her father would do to them if they found out. So what they have done to her, so they want to push out of town, and they want to get her out of there, push her away as soon as possible. But at the same time, the men are just so freaky, they still willing to, at the same time, not so much to force her so much as before, but still they want to drive the canal to get into her panties, because certain ones of them are not as sick and tired of her as others. So this one guy, a fella, he's saying, well, if you don't have any money to pay for, because he's saying, I got other things to do with my motor vehicle. I got business to take care of, and so I gotta, you know, take care of the harvest, etc., transport it here and there. But if you don't have any money, then you have to pay me otherwise, as in give up the panties. So she lays, because he's saying, the other man, he's saying, if you don't give up the panties, then I cannot drive you. You're gonna have to make it on your own. You have to just walk. I mean, though they're desperate to get her out of town, but at the same time, they're thinking in this right twisted what, man. If she falls from dehydration or whatever, and then they could say it was because she decided to walk, her word against this. So then eventually they make inquiries, the news reporters and police and medical, but by then it'd be quite a while before it could possibly become a cold case or what. But they still want to get her out of town. But certain freaky citizens of the town, they want to have a last robbing of the men, a sexual animal muscle. This one guy, and a number of them told her this and that to get into her panties or something similar. So this one guy, a fellow, this town hick or local yokel, he tells her, if I can't get any money out of you to pay for gas or so, then you have to pay me otherwise. So she lays back on her back and spreads her legs, and he's humping and pumping and poking and stroking like a mad. That he's poking and stroking, humping and pumping, busting nuts in her like a mad dog. Whereas it only refreshes the memory how at one time or before then they were just taking it at random from her, just snatching her panty, raping her, you know. And so she just lay there and with her legs spread and let him tear her up like a mad dog, like a larger animal ripping a smaller animal apart. So he's like busting nuts in her every so miles, like he's going for seconds. And then once he gets to a certain part of town, but she don't have rations and so forth, so she has to go back to the town. And it's like, you know, unless she could earn some money, but who knows by the time that she'd be an old maid. But her father finds out, and then she tells him what they had done to her, and then from there all hell breaks loose. The father with his boys head hunting, made men of my family up under his control. They line up the townsfolk, especially the men, and they take them somewhere. They torture them. You know, they're more merciless to. They're more merciful to the woman and children, but to the men they're merciless. They torture them, then they give them some of that Tommy gun action. Yeah, the movie is called Dogtown. You all. That's the name title of it. You have to. I just gave you all the Cliff Notes version of it. You have to rent it or Google it to watch it. But then I feel like I'm in Dogtown, like I'm the white girl, and I don't know if certain neighbors, could have possibly have made like the home invader intruder and took took some of such in my innocence or purity, if you know what I mean, like a Catholic priest vamping upon a parish choir boy was. If I were to catch the men here trespass my prison property, though I still have to move, it's still my place though. In the meantime, there would be damn hell to pay. So for some reason or another, I had the heart and mind to share that with you all, to as I reflect on that movie flick, and it's like I'm living the real life incident of Dogtown. Like I'm the one being abused. Whereas I feel raped That much I do know of the mind. Well, hopefully nobody has done anything to me in a physical kind of way. Because I noticed that at one time or another, my washroom window was unlocked all night. The way my washroom window is, it's like positioned, whereas the fire escape is like right outside. The washroom window is lined up with my washroom window, and somebody could just climb up on the fire escape and just come to my window and enter into my washroom and enter into my place of residence apartment. So I noticed that at one time or another back in the past, whereas my washroom window was unlocked all night. Now I wouldn't leave it unlocked all night. I said I know that for a fact. So I'm like wondering who in the damn hell been in my apartment and unlocked my washroom window. I get to thinking, could it possibly been, one of these here neighbors from damn hell jamming the lock to get into my place of residence apartment to do that so they can have easy access to my apartment, by other means in the door? Or could certain management representative personnel themselves had done that? For they could be quite some characters in their own right, you know what I mean? Like creepy, stupid, and crazy as much as certain neighbors to be considered as neighbors from damn hell. But anyway, though, I'm going to conclude on this last note. As you all know, that you know, from time to time, well, whenever I broadcast a social media video or whatever, I've said I would give you all the preliminaries, the basic intro, and the footnotes, and then I speak upon the subject matter or a topic of discussion to be debated of a given argument with the many different views and opinions to be affiliated, associated with, and representing thereof. Be able to speak upon one or a couple few or four more for the matter, depending on how I feel at that given moment. And then last but not least, I will give the conclusion and you guys say, well, so I say I paraphrase, if not quote exactly, or I can quote exactly all the same by saying, if you have not gotten Christ as your own personal Lord and Savior, I would hope that you would think to do so now, while the blood is still running warm in your veins, by recognizing or realizing what he himself had done or did upon the cross of Calvary on the hill of Golgotha, suffering at the hands of some Roman soldiers upon the orders of their superiors, militarists, political, religious, and otherwise, etc., from centurions to Caesars to religious Pharisees and Sadducees. But then, nevertheless, whereas he went to that cross of Calvary as he was crucified between two thieves to become that perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice for you as well as for me. Don't steal my trademark. I'm going to have to copyright this sometimes. So that any of us being of whatsoever race and whatever walks life, being a faction of the society, a lifestyle preference, being of the old, young, like both two sexes, being the male and female, represent not only the human species, but then nevertheless the global community within this post 911 era of our new millennium apocalyptic day and age where the doomsday clock is now at a couple few minutes to midnight compared on our formerly period practice. It was a quarter minute for these rather biblically prophetic time where to profess some of such faith in them. From there we become to be blessed in one regard, nothing more always one. First and foremost, with this salvation being a wish is the only means by which any of us can or could become citizens of the kingdom of heaven. And second of all, with his deliverance. First of all, you got to get not just a much more important, but the most important blessing being of his salvation. Otherwise, you have nothing coming so far as blessings is concerned. Your final destination, if you leave this world without that fire insurance policy against the lake of fire down hell, your final destination will be the lake of fire down hell, to be burning forever, as well as to be tortured and terrorized by the devil and the demons forever, among like-minded, unsaved, lost down human souls of unbelievers and non-believers. Or unbelievers or non-believers. I mean, say sorry about this late hour. Unbelievers and unbelievers. I mean the same thing. Yeah, and compared to how we as believers in God will be across that great divide that separates heaven from hell in the company of like-minded believers in the presence of God and his angels. Otherwise. Hey, you all take care and be safe, be blessed, not stressed. Peace and love, joy and happiness. I can't say when I will produce another video or social media broadcast, because I'm the last stage of developments and trying to, seal the deal for my new place of residence, address, location, where I will resume paying annual monthly rent, utility, home phone services, etc., and get away from this neighbor from the damn hell of demon possessed character. All I can do is pray for my enemies. You all take care and be safe. We out. Peace.